Welcome to the Order and Chaos podcast. Don't know what number we're on, who cares?
Chaos has taken over and we've got no fucking idea what number we're on.
Chaos rules.
As in the world. So,
Right, where are we? Where are we, David?
right, well, here we go. I won't fuck about because this is the biggest thing on my mind at the minute as far as the world situation all goes. I mentioned it the other day, there's protests on Remembrance Day. There's going to be fucking hell on, isn't there? And this is my prediction, right? And this is what I'm scared of happening. So we've had fucking ridiculous hate marches and carry on for however many weeks now. They're going to do the same thing on Sunday, on Remembrance Day, which is absolutely fucking despicable, isn't it? It's like just fucking, it's like pissing on our entire fucking heritage, isn't it? So they're going to try and do that. And loads of squaddies are now going to go to London, aren't they? Loads of ex-servicemen and that are going to go down there and try and stop them approaching the cenotaph and that. And they said you were going to do it peacefully, right? Whatever comes or goes of that, what are the press going to say? Because it's going to be right-wing thugs, isn't it? It's going to be racists. It's going to be this, that, and the other. It's going to be painting people as the NF and that. That's my biggest fear, because you know what the press are like. And again, like, look at the fucking BBC and that. They're fucking shameful, aren't they? Gary fucking Lineker saying that he thinks the protests should... Oh, who the fuck does he think he is? Do you know what? When I was a kid, and I bet you would say him, I thought Gary Lineker was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Mexico 86, he was the fucking country's hero, wasn't he? And he was brilliant. Now, what a fucking wanker he is. And I don't know, oh man, he boils me fucking piss. I don't know what he thinks it's got to do with him. And I know people probably think the same thing. Well, both the people watching this think the same thing about me and you, don't they? But you know what? I just don't know where he gets such a fucking ridiculous opinion from. The BBC should fucking sack him.
Well, look, let's be honest. The BBC.
But they're all fucking wankers and nonsense anyhow, aren't they?
I watched a brilliant YouTube clip. I don't know who this guy was. He was on a panel on the BBC discussion show with various politicians and obviously a lead BBC presenter and anchor. And he was asked the question about do we think that we banning the marches will go too far? And he says, well, the BBC have got a cheek to say that when they won't even condemn Hamas as a terrorist organisation. You know, and it's like it's right. The fucking we always somehow fall back on the BBC, but it's such a rotten institution, so-called British institution. It isn't. It's just a place for pedos to hide, pedos and lefties to hide out.
Run by nonsense. That's what the BBC is, isn't it?
And as for Gary Lineker, I mean, he's kind of he's gone massively down in my estimation with his lefty thinking. You know, talking about what was the
because didn't he say, we talked about immigration, he said compared us to Nazis.
Yeah.
Right? Well, hang on, Gary, because now we've got people wanting the extermination of the Jews, which is what the fucking Nazis wanted, but the soft cunt thinks that's all right. Fucking fathom that.
Yeah. And it's just because he's got a decent platform that everybody has to listen to the twat, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I mean, is his opinion as valid as anybody else's? Well, it's difficult.
He's a wanker.
Well, he's a wanker.
An
absolute wanker. Yeah.
He's fucking. Do you know what? At least we're in touch with like the Wooken man, aren't we? We're in touch with average. He hasn't got a fucking clue, has he?
Do you know what it is, mate? All these lefties jump on any old fucking bandwagon. I was just having to think about it before. Since 2020, it's been a leftist wet dream. We've had BLM riots in America and in the UK. Lefties jumped right on that. Antifa, they call them. They jumped right on it. They're not even black, but they'll protest on behalf of black people and say this, that, and the other. White supremacy and white privilege and all this. Most of them are university students.
Fucking gears for like Hamas and that, all that stuff. It's fucking brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
They'd kill them, they'd fucking stone them to death, send them all over there. If you're not keen to protest, get yourself over there and see what goes on. See how much welcome you.
Exactly, and that's what I was going to say.
K-47 and get a painless death, wouldn't you?
They, half the time they're just antagonising people. They don't realise what they're protesting for.
Well,
so they've jumped on the BLM, the COVID, the Pride, the climate just stop oil nonsense, and now they've jumped on this free Palestine bullshit. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
It's fucking appalling.
Yeah, I think to get back on topic, Dave, and talk about the Remembrance Sunday. I've had a quick look online about that, and it was this Million Man March, wasn't it? That the Muslim community is trying to promote. Well, they're actually trying to do it on Saturday the 11th, not Sunday the 12th, which is the official. I know it's still bad. It doesn't excuse it.
On Saturday, I think.
But they do the ceremony on the Sunday, don't they? And to be honest, I went down a couple of years ago to London, and we kind of stumbled on it by accident. We weren't planning on going, but we realised it was then, and then went. And Dave, they have security up the arse. I'm not kidding. They have shooters on the roofs of all the high buildings, all the skyscrapers and everything, keeping an eye out for any troublemakers. So if there is any sort of, I know you can look at it two ways, can't you? If there is going to be any sort of people stepping out of line in terms of what we'd expect from
crowd disturbance and that, I just think, do you know what, tempers are going to fucking flare up, aren't they? Because you think of the way they've behaved and the abuse that they've shouted. Now, you put a bunch of lads down there, if there's a bunch of ex-servicemen trying to stop that, and look at the way they behave, look what they're going to be confronted with. Think about how passionate they're going to be. Tempers are going to fucking flare, aren't they?
Yeah.
And to be fair, the ex-servicemen are doing the right thing, aren't they? Because they're going down there because the police have been so completely fucking inept at doing anything.
Oh, my God.
You see the videos of the way they're fucking behaving with the protesters and that, and they're absolutely fucking pathetic. I don't know why they always send coppers that look like 12-year-old fucking schoolboys as well.
You know why?
Because that's what they're all fucking like now.
Because they're all lefty coppers. They'll be the ones doing the dances on TikTok at Notting Hill Carnival and the Pride Parade. It's an absolute disgrace. There's no way the police should be getting involved in any of that shit. No. Absolutely not. They should be sacked, or I tell you what, it should have been part of the fucking King's speech today that the police will keep out of any political whatever political arguments or sort of public taking part in any sort of public events. It's an absolute disgrace. There was one video clip, Dave, I saw. Obviously, I saw the one where the guy with the British flag got arrested. The police said he was saying racist things. He wasn't. He was just arrested because he was a sole sort of protester with the British flag. But then there was a group of ex-squaddies with England flags and St George Cross flags, and they were asked by the police to take a step back onto the pavement because they didn't want the flags. What did they say? Sort of overhanging a barrier, which was sort of dividing the road from the footpath. And one of them asked, why are you doing this? And he simply said, because there's more of them than there is of us, meaning there's more muzzies than there is, or more muzzy protesters than there is of us.
Do you know,
and it's like, what?
That.
Hey?
He'll probably get sacked for saying that.
I doubt it.
Them and us.
I don't. Yeah.
The least woke thing in the world, that, isn't it?
But it just summarises the attitude of politicians. And
I mean, I tell you what I was saying the other day, because again, some of the coppers, you've got to feel for some of them, because like I say, some of them coppers will want to do the job, won't they? And there was a thing, there was loads of them fucking protesters, and they had to barricade themselves inside the building and put the shutters down.
Okay.
Right, now when that's happening, someone should be stamped on, shouldn't they? Someone should be fucking done about that. And again, I am the last person that wants heavy-handed protests, because there's loads of things I fucking disagree about, and there's loads of things I would happily protest about if I got the opportunity. But it's like, it just goes against the very fucking fabric of the country, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think what you were saying there about the papers and that labelling the counter protesters as right wing and Nazis and all this, that, and the other, servicemen that have served for the country, and essentially the the foundation of what Armistice Day, Remembrance Day is all about. It's the fact that could they bring in some legislation where you can't protest anymore, and then obviously that starts the seed of growth to where we can't question any authority.
That's it.
And I know we go down a rabbit hole there, but the rabbit hole is deep. And obviously, it was the King's speech today, and he was laying out all the hopes and ambitions for his government to carry out. Now, King Charles is a member, or he's good friends with the World Economic Forum, isn't he?
Yeah.
All our old mate Klaus Schwab, who if he hasn't got Nazi lineage in his family, I'll fucking eat here with a horse. Jesus Christ. And he's and of course some of the stuff it's all politically correct and aimed at appeasing the public and all this, that and the other. But I picked out a few golden points that the devil's in the detail, and obviously he won't go into the detail, but I picked up on it, and there could be something in it, there might be not, but there was things like new competition rules for digital markets. So at the moment, so what that sort of automatically sort of made me think of was digital currencies. Currently they're independent, aren't they, of any sort of government sort of control? But the government are trying to bring the central bank digital currency in, aren't they? And everybody's going to start using it and doing away with cash, and that way your spending history is recorded, and they can control it. And if you step out of line, like they do in China, they can wipe your credit score off, and you can't buy anything that you need.
Well,
so that was.
When you're saying about the rabbit hole and being controlled, now one of the things I actually picked up on was that by the end of the decade, grocery deliveries, buses, and I can't remember what the other thing was. Apparently, and I don't know whether this is just in London, but will all be automated. So with no drivers in that. No bus drivers, no grocery delivery drivers, and I can't remember what the other thing was. But like, again, it's because I have that thing about Cyberdyne, don't I? AI and all that, and we've got them robot coppers in New York. How long till we've got robot coppers in London? And then how long till we've got them everywhere? Robot coppers, robot bus drivers, robot delivery drivers, robot bin men, robot you fucking... What's everybody going to do? There isn't going to be any fucking jobs left. And what are people going to do? Factories are all machines now. People don't really do much that now, but that was a big job once, wasn't it? Loads of people working in factories. Most of that's machines now. What the fuck are people going to do? There's going to be more and more people, and less to do. Fuck no.
Well, that's what the fourth industrial revolution's about, isn't it? It's the same as the Great Reset. It's all interlinked, and that Schwab talks about it in the Great Reset, and he says that because obviously AI and digital will take over a lot of the industry, we'll have to introduce something called universal basic income. So everybody gets paid to not work, but they get a monthly salary. But that's your lot. Everybody gets the same. So you spend it how you will. And again,
what will everyone just do? What the fuck do they think everyone's going to do? Play on phones and iPads?
You won't be allowed to do a lot of stuff because you won't be able to afford it, and B, it'll be illegal. Because that's what happens, isn't it? You start with one small thing and then it just grows.
You're doing it's a slippery slope, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is a proverbial slippery slope. And it's and we bang on about it, and everybody thinks that we're fucking simple. But you know what, eh? They thought we were fucking simple on that other thing and all, didn't they? That no one's allowed to mention online, and they thought we were simple about that, but we were fucking dead right, weren't we? And it's all been proven, innit?
Mm.
So we'll see further down the fucking line, won't we? Who was stupid and who fucking wasn't. Yeah, Ravens are a madman there.
Well, another thing he said, there'll be new legislation for public interest journalism. Now, what does that mean? Read into that what you will. Does that mean that
means propaganda will be fucking... It'll all be censored, won't it? You won't be able to say that.
Yeah, you can't challenge the mainstream narrative.
Everyone, please subscribe now fast and let us make me YouTube millions. Because honestly, in a few years, we'll be shut down and there's fucking no chance. Because we won't fit the narrative, will we?
No.
Not
I mean,
for
obviously, we've got to edit ourselves, haven't we, for YouTube purposes? And obviously, you run a business and I work in a, delicate industry. But we are obviously editing our thoughts down appropriately. But
yeah.
you can do your own research and have a look into things. It's out there in the public if you're willing to look into it. The other thing, another interesting point he made. Now tell us what this has got to do with the public interest in Great Britain. So there's going to be more scrutiny on anti-Semitism, and they're going to make sure that the Holocaust is never forgotten. Now I don't really know, but the last time I checked, Britain didn't really have anything to do with that, and obviously we're welcoming in people that would champion.
Do you know what it says to us? This with the anti-Semitism and that, because this is written by the government, isn't it? This speech is written by the government or something, read by the king or something like that.
Yeah.
And I just think they're writing the speech for weeks and months and this and this and this and this, and then a fortnight ago or something like that, or a week ago, somebody goes, "Fuck, you forgot to put something like fucking anti-Semitism. Just make something up, put it on the end," and they've just gone with that, haven't they? It's a bit of that to me, that. Because all this is going on now. If this wasn't all going on, wouldn't have got to fucking mention that.
You don't think?
Yeah.
I guess we won't. I guess we'll never know. But it just smacks of complete and utter bullshit. I mean, fucking hell, mate.
All does.
The country's struggling as it is. We're like what we said last week. The infrastructure of the cities and the towns, it's struggling to keep up with the population explosion of immigrants, because the logistic, like I said something silly last week and I thought maybe it didn't make much sense, but when I said there was floods everywhere and it's all down to the sort of the drainage system and things like that, what I meant was, because obviously there's heavy rainfall and we do get floods, that's an acceptance. Okay, that's a red. But it makes it worse when our system we have to deal with it is both aging and on the decline. It hasn't been fixed for God knows how many years, but it was only built to deal with a certain number of people's waste.
Yeah.
And the fact that we've imported God knows how many million of people net over the past few years, that's a massive burden on the infrastructure of towns and villages and cities. And that's where water backs up and comes back through the drains, and rivers can't flow properly. And I just needed to make that point clear rather than sounding like a.
Yeah, I didn't think the floods was around me. There's floods everywhere. I was like,
but that was my point, just to clarify it, and obviously we don't have the money to repair it, because where does the money go? Well, it goes on fucking giving foreign aid out and carrying the wasters that we have in this country, all the freeloaders, and it's like,
where does the money go? So here's another thing, and it's not to do with the King's speech. I'll be honest, you messaged and said that the King's speech was on, and I put it on the BBC because that's the best for the. If you want the full nasty stinking propaganda, the real royal bollocks, you go on there, don't you? And honestly, fucking, I was in the bath. It brought us to fucking tears, and I nearly fell asleep in the bath after 10 minutes. So I fucked it off, and I started reading a few bits on the news, and I seen fucking this Suella Braverman. Have you seen what she said about the tents and that, and the homeless people? Yeah, it's a lifestyle choice. Yeah, it is, because people want to be fucking homeless on the street. So they're gonna, and do you know what? I've seen this happen. Right, there was a lad lived when I worked in Whitehaven. There was a lad lived in, that graveyard where there's that little maze thing in that, round through the back of Whitehaven. Yeah. Right at the back of there in the graveyard, he lived in a tent. And obviously he was homeless, and all these fucking worldly things were in this tent, right? And they sent the fucking bin men round, and they got the tent, and they threw the fucking lot in the back of the bin wagon. How fucking inhumane is that? That's fucking.
Terrible,
I'll be honest, I would give the sack in that, because I wouldn't fucking do that to another man, mate. Like, that's fucking appalling. But that's what you're talking about, isn't it? You think everything that poor cunt had was in that tent, and he'll come back, won't he? And just thought, fuck, everything's gone. Start again. Fucking rock bottom anyhow.
Mm-hmm.
And you probably didn't think there was a fucking rocker bottom than that, but he fucking found one that night, didn't he? So this is what they're going to do, and this is the brilliant thing. So they're going to clamp down on that, and they're going to throw people's tents away, let them fucking freeze to death and things like that. But she didn't mention what they're going to do to fix the fucking homeless problem, did she? She didn't say we're going to throw all these cunts' tents in the bin, but we're going to sort somewhere out so they've got somewhere warm to stay and we can get them back on the feet and give them a fucking chance of getting back into society properly. None of that. Just, yeah, fucking throw the tents in the bin, let the cunts freeze. Just fucking typical of this country again, isn't it? And again, you know, doing everything for every other country and that. But I have a massive thing about the homeless. It's like me sort of fucking, you know, my little sort of favourite cars. For some reason, I've got a massive empathy for the homeless. And I just think nothing's really done in this country about it. And again, there isn't actually, when you look at the grand scheme of things, we're trying to help 10 million foreigners, but just help the few thousand homeless people in this country first. Just help them, get them back into society, get them back being productive members of society, and our society will be stronger, wouldn't it? Them fucking lot of people who are homeless and that probably, you know, a lot of them, you know, when I go away to cities, and I'll have a crack with them, I'll buy them a bit of dinner and that. And like, a lot of them, when you talk to them, you know, she's saying it's a lifestyle choice. I've never met one ever that said, hey, fucking great this, mate, you should give it a go. Go on, get yourself a fucking tent and move in this fucking back alley with me. They all look fucking pig sick and freezing and filthy, don't they?
Yeah.
They live like that. But fucking, again, they couldn't give a fuck, could they?
But in the meantime, illegals get a room, a mobile phone, 140 quid in their ass pocket every week, and get the heating stuck on for them for all for nothing.
And politicians keep claiming expenses. All I think of all the fucking money that goes there. How much money is Suella Braverman make? How much money is she on? How much expenses does she get? How many homeless people could that home and feed for a year? Because I'll tell you what, I bet you could do all right out of it. I bet she gives fuck all to anybody. Heartless cunt.
It will be interesting to see what all those top front bench politicians do with their expense reports.
Oh, do you know what? It would enrage you, wouldn't it, if you said it? It would fucking enrage you. Because I know people around here have had their shares, haven't they? And people have seen people from around here, and it's made them even more unpopular than they already were.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Massive expenses. And I'll be honest again, it just disgusts me, doesn't it? When you look at how poor some people are, and you look at the state some people are living in, all that fucking infuriates me, mate.
It wouldn't be so bad if they were doing a decent job, Dave.
Well, do you know what? No, if they were doing a brilliant job, because if they were doing a brilliant job, everybody would be better off, wouldn't they?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But you know what, if as a politician, you can make everybody in the country dead well off, I would be going, yeah, that cunt deserves £1 million a year. Because look how good everybody else has got it because of him. But it's just not the case, is it? The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. And the divides are getting bigger and bigger. And in 20 years, they'll all be living in New Home, and we'll all be starving to death.
Yeah, they'll be living in gated communities, safe from the riots of protesters on Armistice Day, and they'll be saying, "Oh no, there's no problem. Let's import more," and we'll all be left scrabbling around, unable to put the heating on. I tell you what, it's just popped into my head. It's probably we could probably do a podcast on this at a different time. I was just thinking about it. It come into my head because it's part of the World Economic Forum agenda, and I read about it in a book called Eggs Benedict by the raw egg nationalist, and he's a very good writer. Like, and he talks about how this company under the World Economic Forum called EAT have teamed up with various CEOs of massive industrial companies to try and push this future diet. And he was trying to break it down. I can't remember what it was verbatim, like, but it was something like cutting down on obviously red meat as much as possible, and the majority of your diet was fruits and vegetables, and I think the protein allowance was something like 19 grams a day. Was it 19 grams? Which works out to be like half an egg. So this is a scientifically backed company that are doing the research into a future diet for the whole globe for the wellness of everybody. And the only the amount of protein you're allowed to eat will be 19 grams. So half an egg is your daily what do you call it? Your daily ration. Now,
Well,
come on.
when they start dishing that out, the local rabbit population will go down round here. Because I'll be sure they'll be born at it for me tea. I won't
But
be fucking eating any of that rubbish, mate.
this is supposed to be all serious. You know, they've done the scientific,
This
and
is
you're
like
like,
this is like, you know what I used to do, my mad news from the end of the world. This is a mad news from the end of the world, isn't it? Fuck me.
yeah,
It's,
you can read about it online.
when they talk about all these things in the future, it's like that. It's Terminator 2, isn't it? It's all that. It's fucking mental.
Yeah,
Honestly, I can't fucking get over it. I think of the world of our childhood. Like, remember what? Like, I watched. What was it? I watched thingy, didn't I? Escape from New York, and it was like set in like 1997 or something. And New York was a maximum security prison and stuff like that. And like the world was chaos. And I'm like, fuck, like none of that happened. But you look at now, and it actually looks like now we are actually headed for some sort of mad dystopian future. If
yeah,
the films now, they're probably closer to what it's going to be like. Back then, in the 70s or the early 80s, when they made Escape from New York, nobody really thought, everybody thought everything was cool forever. Didn't they really? Do you know what I mean? There wasn't the things that there is on people's plate now. Because I think the common man was less educated, less informed, wasn't he?
mm,
Because there was no internet. All you got was the newspapers and the propaganda channels in the library.
mm.
There was no sort of alternative thought or alternative voice, was there? Whereas now you can hear somebody from like anywhere in the world who might be saying something that sort of strikes a tone with you. And I think people are a lot more awakened to it all now, aren't they?
Oh, fucking right.
Honestly, I just think like I can't imagine when I look at how much the world's changed, like I say, since we were kids. I cannot imagine what the world will be like given that same jump in time. So from
Yeah, it's a good point.
me
That
fucking in like 19, what fucking, oh, you were born 78. So like
77.
seven, so yeah, so we're seven, but yeah, so we're both 10 in 1987, and you think what the world was like then. And fast forward 36 years. Imagine it 36 years from now. Because honestly, I sometimes look at things and I'm like, my granddad died quite a long time ago, like 20 years ago or something like that. Maybe a little bit more. And he wouldn't have he'd be like fucking gobsmacked if you brought him back now. At the things that have happened since then. He'd be amazed by technology with cars, like, you know, we're talking this fucking automated car thing and that. He'd be fucking blown away by that. All this fucking technology and the internet and that.
Well, Leanne's granddad was born in 1930, wasn't he?
It was.
Leanne's granddad.
Yeah.
So he lived through the war,
100 years, isn't it that?
then he obviously moved to England, and then he's seen all the digital revolution and everything else, and he kind of just takes it in his stride.
Yeah.
It's weird.
But
It's
imagine
just
though, if if he'd been put into suspended animation 20 years ago,
oh yeah.
gradual, because it's drip fed, isn't it? Like everything's
Mm.
drip fed. But imagine if boom, you're just there. Like, imagine if we blinked in what would it have been? 2003. Fucking hell. Imagine if you blinked and you woke up now.
It's happening faster and faster, isn't it?
It
You know,
is. I'm
everything's
terrified of where the world will be in 10 years.
well,
Terrified.
yeah. If World War Three doesn't happen, the so-called World War Three, where we end up destroying each other with nuclear missiles, if that's going to be the case, then yeah, I think we'll be in some kind of dystopia, like like Escape from New York, where we're
I mean,
living off. next to fuck all. I think it will be a bit like a national prison. 1984, same old cliches, isn't it? But
is the one, I think, isn't it? And things like that. That V for Vendetta. That's the same crack, isn't it? Have you seen that?
I have. I remember watching it. Yeah.
I watched it during COVID, and it made an especially good watch then.
Okay. Yeah.
What are you thinking of all that?
Well, we've seen them try it during COVID, haven't we? You know, everything was in short supply because of it. But that was just a trial run, I think. I think.
Well, look, there's definitely going to be food shortages, isn't there? Because, right, war in Ukraine caused food shortages, didn't it? As soon as we had that, things will, this could cause food shortages. There's going to be another war, probably, isn't there, in the Middle East? And that'll be a bigger one, involving a lot more. That's bound to fuck with things, isn't it? Or so we'll be told. Whether it actually has any fucking impact or not, we won't ever know, will we? But we'll be told it will. And all these things, like you say, it's all coming in the future, isn't it? And like I say, I think people think you're daft. But we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, just to finish off, we've already seen the fact that farmers in Canada and Holland have tried to have the farms bought from them, and they've imposed a tax on them for use of nitrogen. So they're trying to say that breeding cows is bad for the environment. Well, this is one way to try and coax us into it by telling us that we're destroying the environment, like replacing cows with lab-grown meat. Fucking explain that one. Or replacing trees with solar panels. Explain that one. But it's all for the good of the environment when it's all just for control.
Like I said, the thought of all that lab fucking grown meat and that is honestly why I bought a bow. Why I learned to shoot. Because if it got to, I wouldn't fucking eat that. I just think it's like cancer on a fucking stick, innit?
Fucking hell, mate.
Fucking maladies, you just wouldn't fucking eat it, would you? No one of my family eat it neither.
That and that fucking vegan replacement meat with all them fillers and preservatives in.
How can
fuck that? You fucking vegans, any vegans watching this, you're off your fucking heads. In fact, turn it off. I don't want you fucking watching this. Any vegans watching this can just fuck off. You fucking self-righteous bastards.
That's
it.
I need just banned. We won't see it again. Now we've upset the vegan community.
I need something lifted. Well, we can't lift it, so we've got to go and get fucking the carnivores around to lift it for us. Fuck off.
No, I've seen videos. The strong vegans, they can be just as strong eating nuts and doing yoga as we can doing strong man and eating red meat. To be fair, I try and limit red meat now. I don't know with the old ticket because Haley has a fit if I have too much red meat now. So I'll be wife happy.
It's dead simple. Steak, absolutely fine for you. Too much bacon, not good, because that's almost processed beyond relief.
Yeah, I tell you what, I get here's a shout out for my man Sam the butcher up the road. I get dry cured bacon chops from there, and I tell you what, that's a different gravy.
Yeah.
Go to the butchers for me, mate. Now, massive difference. Good to buy local, good to support local businesses, and the quality is miles better. And do you know what? I think people always think butchers are going to be really expensive. I don't think it is, to be honest. When you look at what you get, and especially that the quality is better. And do you know what? You know when you cook meat from the supermarket and that stuff comes out in your pan, that foamy stuff and that. Do you know what I mean? Like all that water and that comes out of chicken, doesn't it?
Aye.
That doesn't happen with the stuff from the butcher's. Like it just cooks and stays how it is. The texture is different and everything. So on that shout out for my man Sam the Butcher from up the road. That's Marshall's Butchers on Corporation Road. Absolutely top knacker. And on that, I'll have to shoot because I've got a lesson. Working men, aren't we? So thanks very much, peoples. Like, subscribe, share, all that shit, both of yous.
Yeah, and if you're a vegan, fuck off.